Welcome to day 2. About to get going. We're going to have some more expert inputs this morning, and then this afternoon we're going to move on and talk about what the possible directions are for the different groups, and you're going to have a chance particularly to spend time with each other. I'm going to talk more about the agenda in a second, though. It has been slightly rejigged, and I'll just talk you through that. Hopefully you've all got a copy. If you haven't got a copy, Colleen can make sure that that gets to you. But yes, good morning. And who's sitting on a different table this morning? Hands up if you're... Wow, what a group, fantastic. Who's managed to sit on 2 different tables so far? 3 different tables? 4 different tables? Oh, come on, a round of applause. 4 different tables, please. Yeah, fantastic. So today, a little bit, that's my sort of way into talking about perspectives. And I thought yesterday was fantastic. We got some perspectives from 17 different groups. Yesterday, a lot was about direction, wasn't it? Where should we be heading? What sort of things should we be doing? Yesterday was about direction. We got perspectives there. And today, hopefully, the perspectives will start to shift on to what are the solutions? What can we bring together that will really address those directions that we're talking about? So today, about solutions. And I'm really going to encourage you, partly symbolic, sitting at different seats, you see different perspectives, but also in listening to each other, to really try and hear what other people are saying, how they're coming at the same challenges or similar challenges, but in different ways, with different insights. And we heard yesterday, I think, some very intriguing and, I hope, positive and constructive ways of saying we can tackle these problems from different ways, different perspectives. I'm just going to attempt to show you a little bit of video, which I think sort of sums that up a bit. It always cheers me up when I look at it. I hope it does the same for you. So here we go. Sound for this as well. So this is all about perspective. Come on, anybody own up to doing that at home? Come on, there must be a few gentlemen in the room who've got their. Oh, I got my new skis. I'm going to try them on. I'm going to get it up on the sofa. Yeah, I look great. Fantastic. So different perspectives, and hopefully we'll be able to stand back, see the bigger picture, and connect with each other. And as no better skiers than Canadians, really. It's fantastic. I grew up skiing in Scotland. I mean, come on, give me a bit. I drove 2 hours, and the longest piece I could go down was 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and I'm at the bottom, and I have to get up. I spent my entire life on a lift. Right. So as we have our perspectives, we're on different tables. So what I'd like you to do, just very briefly, is think back from yesterday. With those on your tables, just have a quick conversation, remembering yesterday. What were the most interesting ideas that you had, particularly those that might be fresh or a little bit different from what you've been thinking so far? So yeah, so what was really interesting in terms of the ideas that you had yesterday? Just on your tables for a few minutes. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, if you can just look on your table, you've got the revised agenda. I hope everyone's got a copy of that. Yeah, Colleen was handing them out this morning. I said yesterday we had a plan A. We've moved on to plan A-1, 2. So we've got a slight rejig. And the main reason for altering the agenda, we sat down last night and we thought we really need to create all of the afternoon as a space for you to carry on the conversations that you were just having just now. So I've cut them short, but I want you then to start them up again, particularly after lunchtime. We're going to go straight from lunch. You'll see at 12:30 on your agendas further down, it says straight into the marketplace. And I'll talk about that just before we go into lunch, but that's basically the chance for you to get into more detail, get into more specifics, and keep these conversations going about how you can work together. Before then, we've got 3 different bits of input. So I'm not going to read it all out, but you can see that we've got Nina Schooler and Howard Goldman coming up first in about 5 minutes' time. Going to try and stick with that. And then we're going through this morning with a few bits of input and a break before we hit that lunchtime, and then the marketplace. Right at the end of the day, we're going to come back into this room. You're going to have a chance in your teams, in your networks, or maybe with other teams and networks, depending on how your conversations are going, and saying, how's your thinking evolving? How's it moving on? What sort of ideas have you taken and built on? Where have you got to? It won't be compulsory to feedback at that point, but we'll take a few headlines. But it will be a chance to sit down in networks and teams and think about how things have moved on in the light of the conversations you have in the marketplace. Great. Before we hear, though, from Nina and Howard, I'm just going to sort of get a sense of how sort of charged you are with ideas. So, how much is your thinking already moving on? So, having got you to move to different tables, and I'm going to make you stand up again. So I'm going to say, if you think, actually, yesterday was really fantastic, I've got many ideas that I really want to act on, many different things that I'm going to pursue, many different people that I'm going to speak to. It's really shifted me a lot. I want you to come and sort of stand here in this corner. Yeah, so come up here. This is lots of stuff that I'm going to act on. If you, as I move down to this end of the room, I've got a few things that I want to act on. Yeah, I've got a few ideas. I'm going to learn more this afternoon, but I've got a few ideas. So you're sort of coming a bit down this end. If you've got very, very few, we listened. It's interesting. My thinking hasn't shifted a lot, really. It might this afternoon, but it hasn't shifted a lot. I want you to come and stand here. If you've got no idea, if your mind is a blank, you're exhausted. I don't know what I think. I need somebody to tell me what to think. Come and stand down here with me. In the cool corner. Yeah. It is actually very cool in this corner. No one stood in the cool corner. It is incredibly cold. You should try it. Okay, so lots and lots of ideas that you want to. A few, not many over there, and then absolutely no idea down there. So just go and stand where you are. Excellent. Okay, I'll come to you. All right. Okay, thank you very much. I think we more or less got a spectrum. If we could take a photograph aerially, we'd have a really interesting data visualization, don't you think? Yeah, we could take that. See that spectrum of opinions. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much. I don't want to go too much longer, but I'm going to take 3 or 4 different comments from different parts of the room. So I'm looking for someone over here just to share in 10 seconds. What are some of the ideas?
I don't know if it's an idea or I guess maybe even a warning for the room. And I guess it's that in 5 years, if the change that we've created is felt only in this room, then we will have failed. I think that we need to keep the perspective that the change has to be felt by the youth, the family, the community.
Thank you for that information. Anyone else, the sort of things that you're making you really excited? Anyone want to comment? What are the sort of ideas that got you up here? Great.
I think I'm catching Justin's impatience in terms of let's move to some action. And as you're talking about, it'll be a failure if in 5 years, but I'm also thinking in 10 years and in 20 years. And at the table, we have some people, but not enough, that are going to be the leaders in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years. They're going to carry this on. And how can we make sure that what we're talking about is beyond what we've already done and what they're going to be wanting to do? So that's what gets me really excited. And how can we get even more of those younger voices and minds at the table?
Thank you very much.
So what I've been wondering as we stand here, and we've heard from so many different people, is why there aren't more youth with lived experience standing up and talking to us other than Sarah. And I feel like that's a gap that's really struck me by this morning.
Okay, good. I'm going to keep moving around. Just take 2 or 3 more. So from each corner, the sort of things that you're thinking about here that making you stand in this corner. So anyone want to give a comment? There's no requirement? Yeah? Go on.
Just an observation that it would appear as though many of the networks are in that corner of the room and the teams are more in this corner. Don't know what that means, but...
Right? Hands up if you're facing network. Hands up. Yeah. Teams? Let us try. Okay, one more comment? I'm going to take maybe just a couple more.
We're sort of here in the middle, and the reason for that is because it's the new idea that certainly struck myself and a number of other people at this table is that perhaps we're doing the process incorrectly. So in other words, I think the most innovative thing I heard was from Katie yesterday about how long it took them to find a focus that was going to be impactful for patients, and B, that was actually feasible given the budget and the time frame. And while we are all well-intended here, I have no doubt of that, I would like to actually make a difference for patients and for young people at risk. So my concern is that perhaps we should be thinking collectively about a focus and constructing the network around that, rather than building these big bureaucratic consortiums that really don't share any focus.
So the challenge for action, for focus, my encouragement is we might hear a bit of that this morning, but certainly we should be hearing it this afternoon and into tomorrow. So here are the minds. There may be some groups that are underrepresented, but then, you know, how are we going to deliver on that as part of this going forward? We said this is only 3 days and Friday is not the end of it, so what's the action from that? I'm going to take one more, because I know we've got a group that's really, so down here, and I don't want to feel them haven't been represented. Is anyone wanting to speak out from down this group? No, not going first. No? No? Okay, a quick question?
Well, it's just because we had a group of people saying that we find the day yesterday very interesting because it raises a lot of good questions, more than innovative ideas. And that's why we didn't feel comfortable there, because we didn't feel it was a lot of innovative ideas, but certainly a lot of questions. And I think good research and good interventions start with good questions.
Couldn't have said that better. I think that's exactly right. Questions are where we start with. Let's have as diverse a set of questions at the beginning. Yesterday was great for posing those questions, different perspectives on questions. Maybe today is about moving towards some of that, ideas around solutions, primary purpose or focus, action. So that's my encouragement. If that's what you're thinking, it's really great to see the sort of spread of opinion. Let's try and make some movement on that today. Okay, please take your seats once more. And we're going to get ready now to hear from Nina and Howard, and Jacques, I think, is going to come up and say a few words in introduction to that. So thank you very much.